Then, now, forever. Together. And now, WWE presents Clash at the Castle Post Show.
History has been made here at the OVO Hydro Arena in Glasgow, Scotland. The first ever premium live event to be held in Scotland is officially in the books. And my goodness, what an ending it was. We will get to all of it. Hello, everybody. I'm Jackie Redmond alongside Wade Barrett and my boy Big E on the end. Guys, where do we begin? I don't know. With
I think we know exactly where to begin.
Yes.
That was the biggest screw job in history. It's just beaten Bret Hart. That is the new number one.
Wow.
There is a huge shadow cast upon this entire industry thanks to the actions of CM Punk, and I reiterate what I said on the mic just then. CM Punk needs to be fired by WWE management for once. Show some balls. Do what you're supposed to do. This is a guy who is not medically cleared to be in contact with any wrestler. He has now materially affected the outcome of 2 heavyweight championship matches. You guys need to do something about it. Restore some honor, some integrity to this industry.
You're calling for his job.
Yes. And he deserves it. He has just screwed over an entire nation. Andrew McIntyre. I'm trying my best to calm down. Do we have some gin and juice here from Snoop Dogg?
Up. I wish we did, actually. I think that would be
You think
lovely.
I'm worked up? I just had to try and calm down McIntyre. He's just stormed out the arena. I hope CM Punk is long gone, because if he's not, there's going to be hell to pay.
I can understand Drew McIntyre being upset. This is his home turf. He feels like he has been screwed out over time and time and time again, right? But Biggie, do you agree with this sentiment that CM Punk should be fired?
Look, Drew has every right to be upset. And I think you're a little clouded, you and Drew.
No, you're biased. You are CM Punk's boy.
We have a friendship.
You are biased. Don't play the middle with me.
You and Drew have been friends for a very, very long time.
Yes.
Your judgment is clouded as well.
No.
It's very clouded as well. Obviously, Drew should be upset, rightfully upset. But this was all, this thing is boiling.
Can
it's
I
been
point out
boiling.
one
The pot
thing?
is ready to
It's
blow.
about right and wrong. There's no friendship about it. Call it down the middle. What would a lawyer say here? That guy shouldn't be here. That guy needs to be fired. He is a disgrace.
Can I point out one thing? Technically, Drew McIntyre put hands on Punk first. I know Punk taunted him, but CM Punk did not touch the referee.
What's CM Punk doing here? He wasn't booked for SmackDown. He wasn't booked for any media. He wasn't booked for Clash at the Castle. Are you trying to tell me he got a private jet all the way over to Scotland?
I don't know how CM Punk travels the
globe. No, you know exactly. Don't try and cover it up. We know what went on. We know the machinations of the mind of CM Punk.
Look, there was
ruined this event.
The referee was knocked down. We needed a replacement.
He's not a referee. He's not credentialed.
So now we're abiding by the letter of the law.
McIntyre in the balls.
We're looking for his license, his referee license.
You approve that, the kicking in the balls during a championship match. CM Punk kicked.
Well, here's the thing.
I want to hear
Jackie's point.
I want to hear the voice of goodness. All things that are good in WWE defend a man kicking a man in a championship match
after Drew put his hands on
exactly
Punk afterwards.
What was Punk doing in the ring?
That is a great question.
This is not the first time there's been a
saying
distraction around the ring of a match. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying that Drew McIntyre was also played a role in this because he took his eyes off of Damian Priest.
Because the man in front of him wasn't supposed to be there. CM Punk wasn't there to offer support or advice or cheer the guys along. He was there to interfere, to distract McIntyre and cost him the match.
Well, we're going to find out what Triple H thinks of all this
Good.
because I'm sure someone in the media will ask him in the press conference that is coming up here very shortly. We will take you to it. We will hear from Paul Triple H Levesque, and I have to imagine someone's going to ask him about this matter. I believe Kathy Kelly is ready and standing by. She's going to take us to this press conference. You can tell, Kathy, it's a heated panel up here over what just transpired with Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and of course CM Punk in the zebra shirt.
I mean, it sounds heated, Jackie. Well, I'm here with the media outlets here in Glasgow. We have some special guests here tonight, including World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest, WWE WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque, and of course, our new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Scotland's own Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, Unholy Union. Please. Don't look at the side, please.
No, let me look at them. No.
Anybody got a
marker? Shopping.
No? Well, we're going to get the first question from the third row. Hello.
There we go. Alistair McGeorge from Metro, UK. A lot of emotions going into and coming out of that match. How do you sum up those feelings, and what can you tell us about that moment when you first got back to Gorilla and got to let that start to sink in?
Lots of crying. Just tears, to be honest. It's been a long time for us, and we've been working hard to try and get to this point. So emotional, but really happy to be here.
Yeah,
Really.
and we have been working so hard for this, and what makes it extra sweet is it being Scotland, first Scottish PLE. That's just icing on top of the
Doing
cake.
it in front of the fans tonight was really special.
And my mammy,
And your
doing it in
mammy.
front of my mammy.
Going to get second row as well.
Hi, Mark O'Brien, bodyslam.net. Congratulations to you both. This isn't your first time performing here, Alba. 8 years ago, you performed with ICW in the same arena. How does this compare to 8 years ago?
Better because I'm here.
No, ICW is so special to a lot of us. I genuinely think this event probably wouldn't be happening certainly without Drew. We would not be sitting here today if it wasn't without Drew pushing this for so long. We've all been pushing it for so long, since NXT UK, but really him and ICW. It's been it's just been what Glasgow is to me.
ICW helped build a scene,
And
and,
build all of
and not just
this.
ICW, every promotion and people that were
Even
doing the
other
family-friendly
promotions
shows.
competing.
We created a scene in the UK and in Scotland where fans are loyal, fans want to see wrestling here, and I think WWE appreciated that when they would come for live events and they would see how much Scottish fans loved wrestling and wanted to see more. So,
Yeah. Right, So it means a lot to get to come here and do it again for WWE with Isla. But that's special that we have done it before.
But I'm so annoying. I'm like,
No, it's not. You make me laugh.
Our next question is Denise Salcedo in the front row.
Denise Salcedo, Instinct Culture. Congratulations to the both of you. You are following some very strong champions in Jade and Bianca. So I want to ask, now that you are leading this division, what can we expect from both of you as tag team champions?
I mean, when we had the NXT tag titles, we just wanted to make the tag division special. We wanted to make sure that it was on PLEs, and Jade and Bianca have been such a big part of
And it's
making
it strong.
and we want to just follow their lead and have big matches, get on the PLEs, be wrestling all of the women, and whether
Everyone,
we
everyone
want to
that
take
we
this,
get,
if we can go to NXT and we'll get JC Jane and I'm going to call her another name there.
Oh,
Jasmine next. We'll get people like that down there. So if we can go to NXT, if we can be on Raw, be on SmackDown, we want to just be representing these as best as possible and carrying on that lineage from Jade and Bianca and all the way back, everyone that's held these.
Yep.
And we should have held them a year ago anyway. Bloody Shayna.
Last question, second row.
Ashley Keenan Bryce from BBC Scotland.
Nice to
You guys have made us apocalyptically proud yet again, as you have for years and years. What message would you have to your Scottish fans who've been supporting you all this time and cried and almost lost their voices for you tonight?
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's such a big thing for us as well. We
That's
kind
why
of
this was so special.
Yeah, we forget especially because we don't live here anymore. We forget how much
that feeling is.
and we don't realise the impact. My uncle sent me a video of my wee cousins that I hardly get to see because I live in a different country from them, and they're celebrating in their pajamas and stuff, and it's you forget the impact that you can have on people because we come from like, I'm from North Glasgow. She's from Johnston. Like, we're from kind of like underprivileged areas and stuff. And we come back and we go like, oh, we are actually like, we're an example for people. Like, that's so nice. Like, we can influence people.
I didn't think this was possible.
Yeah.
When I was younger.
Yeah.
So now to think that there's a little girl somewhere that can see us and go,
Good.
I know,
Yeah, no.
this is such a special moment to us, and we want to be leading that charge.
Yeah.
We've got us, we've got Piper, we've got Drew, we've got Nick. There's so many of us, and that just means a lot
and
to
it's
me.
and it's coming back, and because you don't realise the effects that you can have, and that people care. Like, you don't think people like care, and it's just nice to hear that.
Definitely felt the love this, you guys. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations again to you guys. I'm sure some celebrations are to be had this evening. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Our next guest this evening, I'm sure, is still processing the events of the main event this evening. WWE World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest.
All rise. I'm not going to answer one question to all rise. For the World Heavyweight Champion, El Campeón, Damian Priest. Rise. The three of you, rise. That's better. Be seated.
I think we're going to go to the third row on the right.
Hey, Alex McCarthy, Mail Online. Damian, first of all, congratulations. First things first, man, how's that ankle? That spot with the rope looked really gnarly. Looked like it was shoving you for the rest of the match, but you pulled it off. How is it, man?
I mean, it feels like trash right now.
Sure.
I didn't even go to medical yet, so I could do this and talk to you guys and answer your questions, so you're all welcome. Docs will check it out, but, I mean, I ain't going anywhere. I was able to beat Drew McIntyre on one foot, so I'm pretty sure I'm good to go.
In the first row on the left.
Jamal Niaz here for seconds out. Congratulations on the win, Damian. CM Punk made his presence known, helped you win the match. What have you made of his return to the company? How excited are you to share the ring with him one day? And what have you made of his presence in the locker room as well?
Number one, I didn't even know he was here. I had no idea that he was going to get involved. I found out literally as I was walking out that I saw him with the referee t-shirt on, and then I was told in the back what happened. As far as him being back, it's fine. He's a huge star. We all know his accolades. We all know his resume. So when he's back healthy, if he can, perform still at that high level and he earns his way, I would love to share the ring with him. But he's going to have to earn it because I am the world champ.
Hi, Damian. Miles here from Bleach Report Wrestling. We've had many PLEs in different countries now. With this one being in Scotland, what's been your favorite place to wrestle in? And was this one of the most hostile crowds you've ever wrestled in?
I'll be honest, because of the response tonight, and to your point, like your word hostile, to me it's not hostile. It's people booing, it's not hostile. But I loved it. I loved that energy. So I think this is my favorite just for the fact that they wanted me to lose so bad, and I won. That there's no better feeling than somebody telling you can't do something and then shoving it down their throat. So to me, this is so far my favorite place.
Hey David, Ryan Seelick from the Kick Out podcast. Just want to say congratulations for today. How important was this win for you to, discount the naysayers about your title run at the moment?
How important? Transitional. Paper. Again, more things to shove down people's throats. Before I was champ, you can't do it. I did it. He can't hold the title. I held it. He can't beat Drew in Scotland. I did it. Drew called me a paper champion. He said I didn't deserve it. He said I couldn't beat him. Everybody thought I was going to lose it. I was just a transitional champion. My ass. Damian Priest is the world heavyweight champion, the face of Monday Night Raw. Against all odds, against all hate, I am the champ, and I'm going to continue being the champ.
First row on the right.
After Jolie here for Title Sports Network, Damien, after a heated rivalry with Drew McIntyre in the build-up, what's your message to him tonight?
Shut your mouth. Like, seriously, all he did was whine, complain, make jokes, read things on social media to have material to tell me on Monday Night Raw. Like, let it go, man. Go back to being the Scottish psychopath, the warrior, the guy that was fierce, fearsome warrior in the ring. What happened to that guy? He became a talker. That's what happened, and someone who didn't hold himself accountable for all his mistakes. And yet he's here again making another mistake, and that's why he's not the world champ, and I am. So my message to Drew McIntyre, grow up, shut your mouth, and get back to work.
This is the final question for Damian.
Hey Damian, I'm Frank Helen from BBC News. Congrats. How are you feeling about potentially being up against Gunther at the SummerSlam?
Oh, well, not potentially. I mean, I'm the world champ. I'm going to face Gunther at SummerSlam. Look, we all know how good he is in the ring. His IC title run was, I mean, it's historic. So I get it. I get the challenge that he's going to be. But again, please tell me I can't beat him. Please tell me I can't beat Gunther, because I can't wait to shove that one down everybody's throats as well at SummerSlam.
Well, Damian, I know you have to get your leg medically checked out, so thank you so much for answering all of these questions.
All right.
I'm actually getting word that we have a last-minute addition to the press conference this evening. Man who interjected himself into the main event, CM Punk. He brought donuts. Oh. Eating donuts. I had one earlier.
Guten Tag. Oh no, okay.
We've got the.
Sorry, Scotland.
Oh, last row on the right.
Hi, CM Punk. Matthew Fulton from STV News here. You have managed to make the entirety of Scotland mad, and now wearing that T-shirt, you've made half of Scotland mad. So you've made 1.5 of Scotland mad. How does that feel?
I think Scotland loves me. I do. I really do. I think maybe the biggest guy from Scotland doesn't like me, but I think in general, I think people are happy to see me. So I disagree with your sentiment. I'm happy to be here.
Fraser Porter from Cultaholic Wrestling. Just looking at an update on your injury status and how your recovery is going.
I've been cleared only for referee duty. I had a little bit of a hiccup out there. So, we'll go back to the lab and we'll reassess. I could tell you that my arm feels amazing. I got permission to skip Raw in Corpus Christi, to go home to Chicago to see my doctors with the idea that I'm going to be cleared. So I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but throughout my career, saying stuff I'm not supposed to say has kind of done me well, so why stop now? I think SmackDown's in Chicago next week. So I'm a Raw guy. I'm going to skip Raw. I'm going to get cleared, and then I'm going to show up to SmackDown and let everybody know the good news. Hopefully. Keep them crossed.
Chris Jack, TalkSport. That's twice now you have cost Drew McIntyre the World Heavyweight Championship.
I disagree with your sentiment as well, but continue.
So what I was going to ask is, on your road to recovery, from the injury that you've had, would you not rather he was keeping a hold of the title so you could take it off him as opposed to letting others get away with it?
Why would I want him to have anything good? No. I'm not mad that I was injured. Accidents happen. It's a full contact sport. You know, we're athletes. Stuff goes wrong all the time. And I would never wish injury on another athlete, no matter how much I dislike him. You know, I hope Damian Priest, I hope his knee, his hamstring, whatever. It looked like he tore his hamstring to me, but, you know, I'm not a doctor. I hope Drew McIntyre is 100% after that grueling match. I will never wish another athlete suffers an injury that takes away what they love to do and what puts food on their table for their family. So no animosity towards Drew for the injury. The animosity comes from being gleeful about it. He said he prayed for it. Now I'm going to pray on him, and he's never going to ever be a champion here as long as I live. Not as long as we're on the same brand, not as long as we're in the same company, as long as there's air in my lungs. Drew McIntyre's never. And I promise you, and it's not a promise that he made, the empty promise to his wife who's sick, who I really hope is okay, by the way. Kay, get better soon. I promise him he's never going to be a champion ever again.
This is the final
Jamal
question.
Niaz here for Seconds Out. CM Punk, this is a major bad blood rivalry with Drew McIntyre, and I think the first match between you both should just be a Hell in a Cell match right out the gate. What do you make of that? And is there anyone else on the Raw roster that you've not faced yet in this run that you'd love to face?
I mean this with all, what was your name? Jamal. I mean this all due respect. This is why I'm happy that you do not run a professional wrestling company. First match is a Hell in the Cell. Please. Brother, you got to take that fantasy booking shit. Does anybody want a donut, by the way? Did that answer your question? It did. Look, this is my plan. I don't want to ever do a Hell in the Cell. I don't want to ever do a ladder match. Like, I'm gonna beat him up with my two fists, right? He wants to make fun of my tricep. I'm gonna hurt him with it. I'm gonna figure out something. Maybe learn a new hold. You know, hit him with my tricep. It's bionic now. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go get cleared, and then I'm gonna come McIntyre. I'll break his dreams. I'll break his face.
Well, Punk, thank you so much
Oh
for...
man, that's it, really?
Yes,
we're
we
having
do have
fun.
to keep it short. You were a surprise guest this evening.
Huh.
We were not expecting it, but either you can offer the donuts to
Can
the
we
media
can we
here,
get
or
one more maybe from like
one more?
a female?
What about
Can we get a
James?
female? It's like it's
or Denise,
too much
yeah.
testosterone.
Here,
you know?
are you...
It's got to be a really good question though.
Oh, damn. Now the
So,
pressure's
yeah,
on. Oh, man. All right. Denise Salcedo, Instincts Culture. Punk, you were gone from WWE for several years. You've been back now for months. Unfortunately, the injury, but you've still been, doing stuff, speaking-wise, all of that. I want to ask you what has been the biggest surprise or just, how it's been being back in WWE after everything that's happened.
It's great. They have donuts now. I almost can't even joke around, And somebody will say, "Oh, he's just a company guy in this," but the climate has changed. It is a completely different culture. I can't remember. I try not to do media, because honestly, I don't like a lot of you. I said it to somebody, and honestly, I can't tell you if I said it publicly or what. Somebody here, and I'm very bad at compliments. So I just kind of I get awkward and weird, and I start sweating, and somebody. I'm exposing myself to here because I never replied to this message because it was too awkward. I was like, I don't know what to say. But what sums up your question? My answer is somebody here told me that they were extremely happy that I was back to experience the the atmosphere and the culture that I started to grow here. And a lot of it, and this is not my words, a lot of it was because of me, why this place is like this now. A lot of the things that I fought for and asked for, sometimes begged for, are now in place. And it's just a much better place. I'm older, I'm wiser. It's a great crew. The people who like me will know that I'm being earnest and honest and believe me. And the people that don't like me will find a reason to twist that into, you know, oh, he's just lying, yeah, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. We're here. We're the ones that do the work, and we know what goes on behind the scenes. And it's one word, it's magic.
You can go back and heart that message. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you have a safe travels back to Chicago and get good news there.
Thanks, guys. Should I just leave these here?
Anyone want donuts?
Our last guest of the evening, WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque. Would you like some donuts?
All right. Thank you guys all for being here tonight. I want to thank the Hydro here. It was amazing night. They were wonderful to work with. We had a great experience being here. I know our talent did. Whenever they can come to a place like Scotland and just experience the culture. They've had a couple of days here where they were able to go visit a few castles and do a few things on the off hours where they, you know, could do it privately, and they incredibly enjoyed it. So thank you to all of you. I want to thank all the fans that were here both last night and tonight for making this experience incredibly memorable. There's nothing like being in a packed arena when fans are that excited for you to be here and for you to perform for them. And I've said this, I think I did anyways yesterday. You know, we give our talent, go out there and they give you everything they have. They leave it all in that ring. And it's wonderful when the fans come and they do the same thing. They just leave everything that they have in that arena and just have the greatest time. That's what we're here for. And thank you for all of you being here tonight. We experimented tonight with a decibel meter, if any of you saw that, which I think will be a fun experiment to go down. It was very loud. I kept seeing numbers creep up into the hundreds, which is, you know, I'm not a hearing expert, but it's incredibly loud. So congratulations to everybody in Scotland for living up to your reputation as being mental and crazy and very loud and excited. So we set a new record tonight, or all of you set a new record tonight, I should say, for the largest arena gate in history, smashing what we just set in France. We had 11,391 fans here in attendance tonight, but when you crush a record a little over a month ago or so and come here and just surpass that, that's exciting. And it's a really exciting time right now for all of us to be part of this sort of just moment in time where we're just expanding so much globally. WWE has always been a global product, but we're in the middle of an international run like we've never really done before just in the last few months, from Perth, Australia, to Lyon, France, to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, to Scotland here tonight. We're heading into Toronto next month for Money in the Bank, or 3 weeks from now, Money in the Bank, and then Berlin at the end of summer. So a spectacular international run, and I got to tell you, none of you have let us down, so thank you very much for that. I think you'll also expect to see that continue as we move into our existing partnerships with NBCU, but as we move into our partnership with Netflix in January, and I'm not sure how many accurately understand this, but when we move to Netflix in January, 80% of the globe will immediately get all WWE programming at that time. So they will be able to see all the PLEs, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, all of it on Netflix, 80% of the globe in January. So that's a massive sort of game-changing moment for all of us in WWE and very exciting. Also, for all of you here, we will be back to the UK and Ireland this fall, England, Wales, Ireland, starting in mid-October. So international run continues and is very exciting. As for tonight, I'll just run through the card really quick. Cody and AJ was just spectacular, was everything that I thought it would be. Two of the very best in the world, doing what they do at a level that very few can. And there was a big learning from me in that match tonight, which is never mess with Cody's mom. Because she is, as much as I knew she was a badass, I don't want to get slapped around by her, and I don't want her cussing me out. So hats off to Cody's mom. The women's tag match, Alba and Isla were out here before. I'm sure most of you are aware about Alba having a tragedy in her life just very recently, and a very tough emotional time for her. I was extremely happy for her tonight to be able to have this moment, that it was able to work out, and that, quite frankly, she was able to perform under those circumstances the way that she did. And I also want to stress one thing, that it is not the reason. Because I think a lot of people might think that, oh, well, they did this because. We didn't do that because. They are incredibly talented women, both of them, and incredibly deserving of the honor that they had tonight. It has zero to do, I'm happy for that, that it was able to happen, but I just want everybody to understand that it had zero to do with that. Sometimes when you're in a position and you cannot raise all boats at once, no matter how badly you want to, in the job that I'm in, that our creative are in, sometimes it just takes time. And sometimes you just need a spark, or you need the right moment. I think tonight was that spark. I think tonight was that right moment. But it was for all the right reasons that they have worked so hard for and so rightly deserved for both of them. Speaking of that same sentiment, Bayley and Piper, Bayley is always, she's like a constant here. Sometimes doesn't always get her flowers given to her, but is a constant and is one of the absolute best in the world. Also, happens to be her birthday today, so if you run into her, don't be afraid to sing and embarrass her. There was a moment tonight at Gorilla Position where there was a clog of women and talent singing happy birthday to Bayley when she came back from the ring, which was a nice little moment. But Piper Niven tonight showed up in a way that she needed to, and in a way that I knew that she could. She is another talent that just needed that time and that moment, and now she's had it. And while she didn't win the title tonight and didn't beat Bayley tonight, the showing that she had, in my mind, catapults her to another level. And now it's on her to capitalize on it. It's on us to capitalize on it. But to me, that heads her in a different direction. So very, very excited for her, and an incredible performance. Sami Zayn, just another guy, I think, almost incapable of having a bad match or a bad story or a bad creative run. And Gable, Chad Gable, proving again, he's just one of the best pure athletes that we have on the roster and in the world. His athletic ability, the things he brings to the table are second to none. He's an incredible performer. Needs to focus a little bit more on what he can do and a little bit less on the others around him. I maybe don't mess with Otis quite so much, because I feel that coming, and that's a mass of humanity I don't think I want landing on me anytime soon. But Gable, again, showing up tonight and just taking it to another level, which I'm very happy for him and excited that he is going to be where he should be, which is here in the WWE for a long time to come. And then, as was just being discussed, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre. Drew, with all the momentum in the world of an entire country behind him here, of his people, just wanting to see him be victorious, putting on an incredible performance. And Damian Priest, you know, I heard him out here, and he has a right to be angry about it. He has a right to be where he's at and be busting his ass week in and week out to earn the spot that he is in, and having people question it. But I've known him for a while now, and what he set up here is there's nothing he likes better than shutting people up. So when people question him, I think he's going to do what he did here tonight. He's going to show up and he's going to shut people's mouths. And he is going to prove to them long term that the guy that won the championship, that everybody said maybe that's not the right move, or maybe he's just a transitional champion, or maybe you know, he can't hang at that level. He's going to prove all of you wrong. And I know he's going to do it, and he's happy to do it, and I'm happy for him to do it. He's an incredible talent. He's been doing this a really long time and sort of finally getting in that spot where he can really show what he can do. And when you look at him from 3 months ago to the performer that he is today, the aura that he has, the X factor that he has grown incredibly, and I'm very happy for him, and I think there's big things to come in the future. And then, you know, let's talk about CM Punk for a second. It's a long way to fly just to be an angry man. I think, and I could be wrong, but I think it might have something to do with his sugar intake. He's always eating donuts or muffins or something that don't seem to be good for him, and I think it messes with his psyche. The one good thing is he is healing. I think he will be back soon. Obviously, you haven't seen the last of him. He is a man that will hold a grudge. He will see that grudge through to the end. But he mentioned some things up here, and yeah, there is a change, and there is a new era, a new atmosphere, a new all those things. And yes, absolutely, in some ways they are things that he was asking for and started a long time ago. And at a time that maybe he and I, for a lot of reasons, just saw things differently from each other. And we saw eye to eye, but it was angry eye to eye. And it was opposition eye to eye. I cannot tell you how happy I am to have him back. I cannot tell you how exciting it is for me to see the Phil Brooks that I wanted to see then. And while maybe my efforts to get that were taken wrong and it's what led to friction, I always knew the Phil Brooks that I see today was inside there. Just couldn't express it in the right way. So as much as this has changed, he has changed. And I've got to tell you, it's amazing. And I'm excited, and I'm excited for the future, and I'm excited to not just work with him, but just to be around him. He's a pleasure to be around in that locker room. He's a pleasure to be around as a performer. He's a pleasure to be around helping other guys to grow, to change, to just impart what he has learned, not only as a performer, but also as a person that maybe was on the wrong side of things and figured it out along the way. And that's valuable information that he can share with another generation that is becoming behind him or is coming behind him. And I just got to say, I'm thrilled and excited to have him here, and I'm thrilled and excited to not only work with him in a talent role, but work with him to create the WWE that both he and I always wanted it to be. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
I believe it's the first row.
Hi, I'm Bernard Collas, French journalist for Le Ten Sport. I wanted to know if WWE took advantage of these international PLEs to observe local wrestlers. I know, for example, in France, some of the best French wrestlers were in part of the security team during the KO show. So does that mean WWE might be interested by them? Thank you.
I don't know if you've noticed it, but security teams at Raw, SmackDown, and other shows tend to make the best wrestlers in the future. Sheamus, a lot of these guys were all security people, and then it blew up for them, and they became huge successes. It's I don't know what that is, but it works out wonderfully. Look, part of my job, Shawn Michaels' job, William Regal's job, is ensuring the future. We have a massive team. Part of that future is knowing who is out there globally, domestically across the U.S., knowing who's out there in working independent promotions or whatever it is, everywhere in the world, and know who's out there and know who's worth something. When we have an opportunity to go to a market and see them in person, it's wonderful, and hopefully eventually bring them over to the PC or whatever it is for us to be able to do and work with in the future. But we keep an eye on people, and when we see them, if what they're doing is working and they're growing, a lot of times we just watch and continue to let them grow. And when the time is right, we try to bring them in and get them to that next level and hopefully become WWE superstars. But we keep an eye on all of them. I do believe that you will see a lot of announcements on that in the very near future, domestically and internationally, of things that we are doing to take talent recruitment and the development of talent to another level.
I'm Frank Allen from BBC News. So tonight was iconic, well done. It was the first PLA in Scotland. Can we expect perhaps more in the future in Scotland and perhaps on a bigger scale like Murrayfield?
So I've said this in the past, we are going to all these markets. When you show up like Scotland did tonight, are we going to come back? Hell yes. Is it going to bigger? Let's see, right? Like, how big can we make it? That is the challenge globally, internationally, everywhere, is to go to the places that are the biggest and the loudest. We even brought a monitor now to be able to say, like, oh, no, you were louder. WWE is big all over the globe. It's everywhere. Where are the places that we want to go the most? Where are the places that want us to go the most? To go there the most, and then also what are the places that our partners internationally, like Netflix, would love us to go to and increase business there for them. So it's a partnership all the way around. It's a partnership with us, with you, with Netflix, and we're going to continue to grow that and continue to deliver to fans the excitement that they want to see and show up and go crazy for.
Hi Paul, Colin Lamont here with the Scottish Sun. A few years ago you appeared on an ICW show with Dallas, and we got to see obviously Scottish talent there. I know Drew was one of the big trailblazers, and now we have so many people. We have 2 new champions that we crowned tonight. Has it been cool for you to watch Scotland progress and suddenly produce so many top quality wrestlers for WWE and promotions everywhere?
Absolutely. I've, over the years, and there's been reasons for it to happen and the reasons for it to stop behind the scenes and all of those things, but I've always had an interest in trying to make WWE and wrestling in general bigger globally, to encourage. To me, when a kid sits at home on a day like today and he watches Drew McIntyre or she watches Elba and Isla or Piper Niven or anybody like that, and they say, wow, they're from here, like me, they're just like me. Man, if I work that hard and I go after my dream, I can do this too. When you can do that globally, worldwide, whether that's France, whether that's the Middle East, whether that's Japan, any place where you can begin to have that next generation, because that's what it starts with. That's how it started with me, is a kid that sits and watches it and one day goes, I have to do that. I have to do that. If we can cultivate that, where people in those countries, in those markets, begin to see their future in front of their eyes, that's game-changing stuff for me. So was I excited to come here years ago, for IW, Mark Dallas's promotion? When we talked about that and I was going to show up, he was like, you're kidding me, yeah, I love doing that stuff, and I love being able to put a spotlight on that and hopefully find more talent from that. And we'll hopefully just continue to grow that in the future.
Hi, Paul. Scott Felstead from Muscle and Fitness. Congratulations on another blockbuster event. We mentioned Damian Priest earlier, and I was just wondering if it brings back memories for you, because unlike kind of boxing and MMA where somebody gets injured and that might end the fight, in a pro wrestling match, there may be 10, 15, 20 minutes and a story to do, and that takes a lot of heart. And I think wrestling should get a bit more respect for the amount of heart that people show when it's a full contact sport, as CM Punk said. I wonder if it brings any memories back for you, and if you've got any thoughts on that.
Yeah, not good ones. Yeah, I've been in that situation before where, it as he said, it's full contact sport. The injury rate is 100%. No one gets out unscathed, and they might have a long run of it, but you're going to leave here with some issues, with some aches and pains. It's just a part of the game, but it's part of what we do and why we love it. When I saw that happen to Damian, my heart jumped out of my chest. I didn't see any way that he wasn't injured, and when I got word that he says he's fine, which adrenaline is a hell of a drug. You seem fine in the moment. I'm really hoping when I leave here I'm going to get good news, because while he's walking around okay now, I'm sure adrenaline is carrying him through that. So there's such a fine line between what we do being safe and what we do not being safe. There is a risk to reward ratio every single time you get in that ring. It's the truth is, it's why we try to emphasize storytelling, right? Because everything else is special effects to a degree. And you've got to take the risks when you can and not take them when you can. And you want to be in this for the long haul, not the short. So, it brings back memories. I can relate to it, and I certainly hope he's okay. But it's a part of what we do. Don't try this at home.
Final question of the evening goes to James.
Hi, James Delo from Gorilla Position. Congrats on tonight. You mentioned Chad Gable earlier on. We were lucky enough to have him on our show this morning, and he sort of revealed to us, as you say, that he has indeed re-signed with WWE, chosen not to go elsewhere. And the reasons he gave, he said he respected your vision for the product, but crucially, it was because you kept your promises you made to him pertaining to his career and the growth of his career. Can you kind of speak on the conversations you had with him about that and why he's such a special talent?
Well, one, that's very flattering, and I'm humbled that he would say that. But the truth is, he's an amazing performer. I would like for him to be here forever, for him to be able to perform at the highest level, be seen by the most people, have an incredible career, leave here as healthy as possible. But the environment has changed, and he is a part of that change. So to me, it would have been a shame. I would have been sad if he had been here all this time and he just, went elsewhere for whatever reasons. I would have been happy for him if that was right for him, and I would have wished him incredible success wherever he went. That's a part of the game. It's a part of this business. But he's an incredible performer, and as far as the conversations we had, that's not mine to talk about. If he wants to talk about him, that's his business. But it's not mine to talk about. I'm just thrilled he's here. I'm thrilled he's where at home here, where he should be. And I can't wait to, like I said about CM Punk, we're all doing this together. That's what's great about this. There's a unified movement that everybody seems to be loving, and we're all headed in the same direction. It's just a massive movement of positive, excited, young talent, and some older that are looking to run through a wall to take this to another level, as big as it is, that are looking to make this beyond anybody's expectations of what it can be. And I think that mindset, especially people like Chad, Chad came up through the PC and we've worked together for a long time. So I know what his expectations are because we helped put it in him. And I'm just thrilled that he's here and excited to move forward with him.
Well, Paul, congratulations on a historic evening here tonight, and safe travels to Corpus Christi, Texas for Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think after tonight, Corpus should be interesting. I would imagine Drew McIntyre will be there, as will others. So it should be quite interesting. And as always, we start the next chapter and the next page. It's an exciting time. So hopefully I'll see you all at Money in the Bank. Thank you for being so excited and your hospitality while we were here, and we'll see you down the road. Thank you.
Well, certainly a lot to talk about in Corpus Christi for Monday Night Raw. A lot to talk about on the panel. I wish I was out there with you guys. Maybe I could bring some donuts, but I'm going to send it back to you.
Kathy, I'll tell you what, I don't know that donuts are going to cool down Wade Barrett. He is still hot over the way this ended. You didn't get any answers in that press conference. You'll have to wait till Monday Night Raw.
I don't want donuts. I want a beer, first of all, or some gin
Okay.
and juice. But let's get to the point here, okay? We have had a guy...
But you're going to, regardless.
Yeah, we're going there. we have a guy in CM Punk who has materially derailed the show, a massive show. It was the biggest arena gate of all time, as we just learned.
Yeah.
He derailed it. He derailed a World Heavyweight Championship match, the dreams of millions of Scottish people, and of course, Drew McIntyre. He should have been thrown out the building, or in fact, he should have been thrown out for his own safety, first of all. But to invite him to a press conference after that, give the guy donuts and throw softball questions at him. First of all, those journalists should be ashamed of themselves. And then to have the leader of this industry, the leader of WWE, a man who I've consistently respected, Triple H, come out and answer these issues with quotes like, "I'm happy to have Phil Brooks back. This is the Phil Brooks I want to see. Thrilled and excited to work with him." And here's the real kicker. Thank you, CM Punk, for helping change the culture behind the scenes at WWE. I cannot respect any of that. That is nonsense. The man is poison.
I will, to be clear, Paul, all respect from my angle. I believe he's as well. But, there was other things that happened on this card that we should probably mention, right? We did have a title change. We have new women's tag team champions in Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Sami Zayn retains his Intercontinental Championship. We had one man, AJ Styles, say I quit. Cody Rhodes retains. There's a whole thing now, I think, brewing with this bootleg bloodline, as we like to call it. What stood out for you, E?
Very much so. Like we started the night off with a banger with that I Quit match. I think that's setting the bar so high. Those two men went out there, they gave it their all. I thought having, Cody having his mom there might be a mistake, but I think if anything, I think it added some extra motivation, and those slaps I wouldn't want a part of either. But to see Isla and Alba to get their moment here at home, knowing everything that Alba and her family have gone through, hats off to them. That really was a touching moment. And also the moment with Otis and Maxine. It's my favorite soap opera, honestly. It's my very favorite. So shout out to
As
Sami
the
Zayn.
Academy turns is what
They
we
are
can
out of
say.
the Academy after
As
that.
the Academy
Worst
turns.
students ever.
Featuring Otis, Maxine Tozawa, Akira Tozawa, and Chad Gable. We'll have to tune into Monday Night Raw to see what the next chapter of that soap opera contains. Also, congratulations to Bayley. She retains her WWE Women's Championship. Our next premium live event comes from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. My home. Very excited about that. 3 weeks from today. We hope to see you there, and we hope you enjoyed a historic night here from Glasgow, Scotland, the first ever premium live event right here. It was fun. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Baby, I got what you're looking for.